thank you so much for joining. Can we start by taking your name and the company you work for, please?
Yeah, so my name is Elizabeth Moon and I work for a company called Looper Insights.
Yep. Can you tell me a bit about the industry that you work in, please?
Yeah, so we work in analytics within the film and TV industry. I would be getting in contact with a lot of third party suppliers, to get their side of the business to make sure that it's up and running and progressing as we need it to. I would be working with a lot of different teams to see where we are with different projects. At the moment, we have projects to do with some tech migration, for example,
Mhm.
our security systems, and other policies like that that we are either transferring or updating, things like that. Looking at roadmaps to make sure that we're on point, adapting them or updating them in any way. And we're very much in the agile framework. So, joining sprint demos, stand ups, and helping anyone who has a blocker that I could help. A lot of things that might typically fall through the cracks without a clear owner. I take ownership of them until I can then pass them off to the most suitable person after
Yep.
that.
Why did you decide to take a Prince2 course?
So, previous to joining Looper, I was actually a product owner. And I had done a course to become a certified product owner, and I just found it really expanded my knowledge of my role and mainly my confidence, I would say. What happened to me then was Looper offered me a job as a project manager because they thought I had the right skills to do that role well. And I just knew from the beginning I would be happy to do that, and happy to take that opportunity to have a new role. But I knew I would want a course to just once again have that foundational understanding, knowledge, and confidence in it. So I reached out to my former project manager. She recommended not only the Prince2 course, but she recommended Knowledge Train. And yeah, from then I just decided it would be the best way to move forward and to feel comfortable in a new position.
Apart from actually moving to become a project manager, how did gaining a Prince2 qualification help you in your career?
Okay. I think one of the big things that I got from it is, especially as a woman in a STEM company and a woman in tech in particular, just learning that it is not only okay, but it is important that you have a level of assertiveness, and authority, and to take ownership of that. So I think that was a big part. A big part that I took out of the course was learning that.
And how do you feel about working in projects now after completing the Prince2 qualifications?
Completely different mindset working with them, a completely different way of starting them. And I always found that starting something was the most difficult part. You can so easily get overwhelmed by how much there is to do, especially with project managing, because you don't have a clear view of what's going to happen. That's up to us to discover that. So that's when it can be really overwhelming and you can just feel like you can't take the first step. So just knowing what your first few steps are at least, and having that framework and realizing that it's something you'll be able to repeat again and again, that has been really helpful. And just the structure and being able to follow that structure and take ownership of that structure as well.
When you first started your role as a project manager, did you fully feel confident, or did you still feel like in some certain aspects that you still had to improve yourself?
No, there's always still, like, you're not 100% ready ever, I don't think. It's one of the things with Prince2, it is to be adapted always. It is not something that is going to be the same for each person, for each company, for each project even. So always still when I have a project starting, I need to think how I'm going to adapt it and what's different this time. It's always different. So you're never fully prepared for what's coming your way, but you're fully prepared to prepare for it, if that helps. Project management. I would love to stay in that. I might enter into more kind of the operation side of things. Like I can see myself in a few years' time tuning into the specific side of project management that I would like to do. But one of the things that I love about project management is it can bring you to lots of different industries. So at the moment, I mean, the film and TV industry is so fascinating and it's really interesting. Before this, I worked in the rail industry and I equally loved that. And I just love the fact that you can still have such variety through your career while staying in the same role with the same values and the same knowledge. So, I think I was really lucky with the course that I happened to get on. There were only four of us, in fact, only four participants in the classroom. And we had a fantastic instructor. I found the foundational one to be really valuable. Just going through each section, I had read up obviously on Prince2 before. I watched the YouTube videos and I gotten a book and whatnot. But having someone with knowledge and experience in it, not just read something off a page, but bring in real life scenarios, tweak it to our own industries, and ask us questions after each section and whatnot, just to make sure that we did fully understand, and not just understand, but that we could start to envision how we would use it. I just found that really, really useful. So those couple of days were amazing. The practical was also useful to look at a real life scenario um, and imagine, interpret what we would do if we were the project manager in that scenario. That was really useful as well. And also, of course, it really prepared us for the exams at the end. I really enjoyed it, and I've since recommended Knowledge Train to a couple of colleagues and a couple of friends. Um, Not only people who are already project managers, but people who would like to become project managers. I think it's useful there, and it's a very unique course because it's so many industries that it applies to. On our course alone, we had someone from the NHS, we had me with film and TV, we had someone else who was in like retail. It wasn't anything to do with like online or tech or anything, but it still counted, and it still made sense in their area. So yeah, that's why.
Did you have to research Knowledge Train as a company or Prince2 as a topic before taking the course?
Yeah, I guess I did a bit of both. I was recommended Knowledge Train by my former project
Mhm.
manager. She been very happy with the course that she did. So I looked into a bit. I looked on the website. I looked at reviews online, of course, Google reviews, possibly Trustpilot also. And you guys had a couple of videos of people saying how they found the courses. So I found them really useful. In terms of the course itself, definitely, there are some fantastic resources online, again on YouTube, in fact. And I bought a couple of introduction books also, just to have an understanding of what we're going into and to make sure, I guess, like a project manager would, to prepare as much as I could before the unknown comes my way. But definitely, I would recommend you do that to make sure it's what you want.